Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of all ages, welcome back to a special edition Star Citizen 3.4, and I have something for you. Now, if you're a regular layman like myself, you probably don't know what you're looking at. This is the super exclusive Million Mile High Club. Yes, this is an official, legit location in Star Citizen. However, there's a very big stipulation you must reach in order to have access to the Million Mile High Club. You have to spend a certain amount of money in order to get access to the Million Mile High Club. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you need to spend, I think, or let me rephrase that. You need to have pledged about 10,000 to get access to the Million Mile High Club. Now, because of that, I think we're a little bit out of costume, if you will. So, I think what we should go ahead and do is swap to something a little more fancy. Ah, there we go. Now we're embodying the elite of Star Citizen. Got our top hat, got our monocle, and got our super duper expensive duster. Yeah, alright. So, the Million Mile High Club is basically just that. It's a club. As you can see, it looks really nice, it looks really fancy, but that's really about it. As we can see on the tour here, there's really not much here. I guess fish tanks and exorbitant fish tanks at that somehow embody being well off and having lots of money and being a showboat. None of these screens are interactable. There's some nice weird art, some decor, weird green Shrek drinks or something, or Shrek swamp drinks. Again, another big-ass fish tank with what looks like no fish. But, gotta have those fish tanks. For some reason, fish tanks signify and embody being well off in the Star Citizen universe. Got drinks on ice, bottles. Go over to the apparently the bartender plays Fortnite because he's doing the T-pose. In fact, there's two. Look at that. One guy, he's so busy T-posing, they had to bring in another one. Another thing, the seats aren't even interactable. So I decided I'm going to be the bartender. Look at me. I'm the bartender now. I was hoping I could interact with them and maybe get a drink, kind of like Lorville, but it seems to not be in. And now, it kind of makes more sense why they had such a push on getting the bartender working. So that way, there's actually something to do in the Million Mile High Club. Now, you may be asking yourself, Will, how did you get here? Did you spend buku bucks to get access? No. In fact, if you notice, in my equipment manager, I have a lot of items available. And if you notice, some of them you can't otherwise attain, like this suit. So what I ended up doing was I used... that's fucking... Oh, look at that. I used some tools to open up the game files and jump around to the available levels, to the available stages, to the available places that we could go to. In doing so, it also gave me access to all the items that are wearable, all the clothing. In fact, here you can see me going through some of them. So no, I did not spend a retarded amount of money just to get access to the Million Mile High Club. Now, what I find interesting is look at all the different versions of clothing that is wearable. I have not seen like 3/4 of this stuff in the wild. A lot of these pieces of clothing you are not able to get through regular, easy means. And I don't understand why. Like, there are plenty of shops to put a lot of these, you know, clothing items in. I mean, obviously you can't put that one in because it's obviously not finished. But my point stands, you know, there's a lot of clothing. In fact, when I took this video, this was before the Voyager subscriber armor sets were out, before they were completed, and all of those items were here. Like, they were already made, already done. So that makes me wonder, you know, are they going to do that with other pieces of clothing? Now, I'm hoping we'll be able to have easier access to these pieces of clothing. I can only assume it's because, I don't know, maybe they're saving it for some reason. I don't know. Like, some of the Hurston armor you can also get if you use this trick. And, that's just pure nightmare fuel right there. But yeah, really, there's not a whole lot in the Million Mile High Club. It's just some nice looking scenery. That's about it. You know, it's exclusive. That's the other thing. And, you know, some people really dig that. And this kind of harkens back to what I was saying about elitism in Star Citizen. I'm a little bit worried because this just kind of helps to proliferate that idea and that mindset. So, you know, depending on what they do and how they go about it from here is really going to determine, you know, if that sticks and if that is, in fact, something that becomes a constant in the Star Citizen community. Now, I have even more undersuits to show you, as well as a couple of assets that are still being worked on. Yes, I realized this video initially got you in because I was talking about the Million Mile High Club, and it was probably something you weren't familiar with, but bear with me here. So I was able to locate a huge plethora of helmets. So as you see here, this is the Marine helmet. You know, they keep going. So that's the Oracle helmet. And there's a couple of other ones which are still being worked on. So there's the Hurston helmet. Another Hurston helmet. And as it goes down a little further, halfway done with the glass, and look, there's a Friar haircut, like Friar Tuck, something like that. And I mean, there is a huge amount of clothing, which is already, for all intents and purposes, queued up or ready to go. They just need a couple of final touches, need the images done, or, I mean, some of these cases actually need the texture to be created. A Headless Horseman cosplay right there. And then look at some of these have interesting glass shaders where the glass is actually colored differently. Some of them are really outrageous, like that purple one we just saw. But there's another one which, let's see, where did it go? I think it's down a little more. It looks like it might be a helmet for damaged NPCs, or here we go, that one right there. So look at it's got like shattered visor on it, and it comes in a couple different flavors, and by flavors I mean different colored helmets. Like that's a white one, that's a brown gold one, and then if we take a closer look, you can actually see it looks like maybe like a bullet hole or something really hard slammed into it and broke it inward. And it even looks like there's a texture on the forehead denoting damage or an injury. So it really makes me wonder, you know, what are these part of? because there's multiple colors to it. And you can see it's got an original texture on the broken visor, but of course it would, as that is most certainly and obviously a new texture, new item, a new thingamabob jigger thingy. Basically what I'm trying to say is there are so many more clothing options, armor options, and undersuit options that are available to the NPC community, but yet to come into the hands of the player community. I mean, just the sheer amount of versions just from a quick color swap is obviously something very attainable, but I wonder why we don't have these yet. There are a lot of stores that these could be in. Maybe I'm just deaf, dumb, and blind, and I haven't found the locations in which some of these more unique / different colored items are sold. If you have, let me know, because I would definitely like to find some of these options. So from there, we move to the torso armors, and right off the bat, basically the exact same thing. There is a whole plethora of other armor pieces not available to the public, if you will. You're going to find, once again, the Hurston Dynamics armor. I don't recall if I looked deep enough to find the other, FPS AI armor, like the ones that are basically the Dust Up and Defiant armor, but with different colors, like the red and, all that cool shit. Like that one right there is from Squadron. That armor set, the AVSE, is from Squadron. That's going to be one of, if not the main, flight suit you use. Finding that made me really excited, because to finally see an asset like that, one that we haven't even seen on NPCs, is fucking cool. And there we go. I think, no, that's the Voyager one. So again, when I made this video, Voyager and Venture, those are what I was trying to think of. So before those were released, to the greater public, if you will, I found those. Now this one, if you see that bright glowing spot, again, that looks like damage. I think that armor set is also going to be more for environmental storytelling, where you might go in somewhere and find a bunch of dead characters and their armor is going to look like that. They did have an ATV or some behind the scenes thing, maybe in a jump point, where they were talking about damage states of the character and the armor, so you can see visually that something had happened, or approximately what had happened in terms of that was a blaster, that was a ballistic, that was a knife, so on and so forth. And okay, that should be enough of rooting around inside of the different clothing, undersuit, and armor options. But yeah, so again, basically, this is the Million Mile High Club. There's not a whole lot here. It's literally just an exclusive club for the whales to hang out. So, I think I'm going to leave the video here. We've just about seen and done everything we can in the Million Mile High Club. So, you know the drill. Questions, comments, concerns? Leave them shits right down below in the comments section. Check out the Discord. I'm always posting cool shit in there, and conversations, and we get together and have a group play. So, thank you very much for watching. All you beautiful bastards out there, you have yourselves a wonderful day, morning, evening, whenever, wherever you just so happen to be. This has been Will, Daylight Gamer, signing off. Fuck the elite. Eat the rich. Yeah, one minute, then spit out the rich. Eat the rich.